Anyone who owns a car knows that sinking feeling. A light pops up on the dash, your stomach drops. But what if that light isn't a final verdict? What if it's actually the first clue? Today, we're going to demystify one of the most common codes out there, the P0304, and turn you into a diagnostic detective. Ah, yes, that little light. It's pretty much the universal symbol for, oh no, this is going to be expensive, right? But it really doesn't have to be. That light isn't the problem, it's just the start of the trail, and we're about to solve the case. All right, first things first, we need to actually understand the message we're being sent. See, that code, it's not just some random string of numbers. It's a very specific report coming directly from your car's brain, the powertrain control module. Okay, so here's what's so cool about this. The code itself tells a story. P03 tells us it's a misfire, and that final digit, the 04, that's the golden ticket. It points us directly to cylinder number 4. The problem is already narrowed down for us. Your car is literally telling you exactly where to look. Think about it like this. Every single time your engine fires, it's a tiny, perfectly controlled explosion. And to make that happen, you need 3 things. You need air, you need fuel, and you need a spark to light it all off. A misfire code like P0304 is just your car saying, hey, for cylinder number 4, one piece of that powerful triangle is missing. Our job? It's to figure out which one. All right, detective, you've got your crime scene, cylinder number 4. Now it's time to line up the usual suspects. We've got to figure out what or who is breaking that fire triangle. And this chart? It basically tells us exactly where to start looking. The vast majority of misfires are caused by the ignition system, the parts responsible for creating that critical spark. So that's where we're going to start our investigation, with the most likely culprits. So here's our official lineup. Under ignition, you've got your prime suspects, a bad ignition coil, a worn-out spark plug, or maybe a bad wire. Under fuel, the main offender is usually a clogged injector. And way down the list in the rarely happens category are mechanical issues. This table is our roadmap for the whole investigation. Okay, now for my favorite part. You don't need a garage full of fancy tools for this next step. The single most effective diagnostic trick in the book is something we call the swap test. And believe me, it is way simpler than it sounds. Whoa, hold on. Before you even think about touching anything, you have to be 100% sure you know which cylinder is number 4. Just do a quick search online for your car's year, model, and engine, plus the words cylinder diagram. It'll pop right up. Seriously, do not skip this step. All right, you ready? Here's the play-by-play. You're going to find that ignition coil on cylinder 4. Unplug it, unbolt it, and just swap it with the one right next door, cylinder 3. Then, grab a basic code scanner, clear the codes, and start the car. Just let it run for a bit till the light comes back on, and then check the code one more time. And here's the moment of truth. Did the problem move with the part? If your scanner now spits out a P0303 code, bam, you've found your culprit. The misfire followed the coil. Case closed. You've just proven that the ignition coil is bad, and it's that easy. Okay, but what if you do all that and the code comes right back as the same old P0304? Does that mean we're stuck? No way. It just means our number 1 suspect is innocent, and it's time to move on to the next one in the lineup. We're going to run the exact same play, just with a different player, the spark plug. Pull the plug from cylinder 4, swap it with one from another cylinder, let's say number 2. Clear the codes, start it up, and see what happens. If the code changes to P0302, well, you know you need a new spark plug. All right, so let's imagine the scenario. You've swapped the coil, you've swapped the plug, but that stubborn P0304 code is still there, staring you down. All this tells us is that the problem isn't with the most common ignition parts. So now it's time to dig just a little bit deeper. That's right. We've basically cleared the spark side of our fire triangle. So where do we look next? Well, we've got to check the fuel side, and that means our next suspect is the fuel injector for that specific cylinder, number 4. And you don't need fancy equipment for this either. You can do a quick check with this old-school mechanics trick. Just take a long screwdriver, carefully place the tip on the body of that number 4 injector, and put the handle right up to your ear. A healthy injector makes a nice, steady clicking sound. But if all you hear is silence, well, that injector isn't doing its job. Okay, so only if the ignition parts check out and the injector is clicking away like it should, only then do we start thinking about a deeper mechanical issue, something like low compression. Now, this is by far the rarest cause, and honestly, to confirm it, you usually need a special tool for a compression test. This might be the point where you decide to call in a pro. But let's be optimistic here. Let's say our detective work paid off big time. We ran our tests, we isolated the bad part, and now we are ready to close this case and get our car running right. The path to victory from here is super simple. 1. Replace the part you just proved was bad. 2. Clear that check engine code one last time. And 3. The best part. Take the car for a drive to make sure it's running smooth and that pesky light stays off for good. And that's it. That amazing feeling when you turn the key, see a clean dashboard with no warning lights, and feel a smooth, happy engine, that's your reward. You didn't just guess and throw parts at a problem. You figured it out, and you fixed it. So, before we finish up, let's just take a step back for a second. What's the real key takeaway from all of this? What's the main lesson we can apply to other car problems down the road? It really boils down to this. First, understand what the code is actually telling you. Second, always start with the easy stuff, the most likely fixes. Third, that swap test, that is your secret weapon. By just following a logical process, you can solve the problem methodically instead of just guessing. And this chart right here really drives home the why. Taking a few minutes to do a swap test yourself can literally save you a significant amount of money and time compared to just taking it straight to a shop. You're empowering yourself to solve the problem efficiently. So look, you just took a scary warning light and turned it into a simple, solvable puzzle. By understanding the process, you've picked up a new skill. The only question left is, what car mystery are we gonna solve together next?